among the three-brained beings of this strange planet, which had been fixed in the process of ordinary existence, and namely, the inherency of the beings belonging to the caste of the ruling class, and the psychopathy of certain of their ordinary beings, is that they always get divided on questions of religion. Soon after its foundation, on whatever religious doctrines these religions may have been built up, into their famous sects. And these sects, in their turn, get divided into other sects. And thanks to this, just the same occurs there in all epochs on this comparatively not large planet in the sense of religions, as with the large number of the spoken languages there, referring to which our highly esteemed Mullah Nasruddin called it a thousand-tongued hydra. And in the present case, he would say, very titillating titillations. During my observations on the process of the existence of these peculiar three-brained beings, there had been many times actualized from above, in the common presences of certain of them, the germs of these sacred individuals, and almost on each occasion, with the exception only of the most sacred Ashiata Shiamash, and all connected with him, which flowed from his own most great labors. After their completed formation and their fulfillment of the mission imposed on them from above, when the process of the sacred Raskuarno was completed with them, such religious teachings always began in the mentioned way to arise among these peculiar beings there, i.e., they at first, as I said, collecting into one whole all that was indicated and explained in detail by these sacred individuals intentionally actualized from above, for the purpose of remembering it all themselves, and also for the purpose of transmission to subsequent generations. Yet, of course, into one whole which they collected from the very beginning, as it is said there, from bits here and there. And later, as all of this which was collected together fell into the hands of just those two mentioned types there, well, just then they began, as I already expressed it, to peck at all this, and further dividing themselves up into their famous what are called sects, already compose new fantastic religious teachings thought out by themselves. As a result of which there always obtains on this planet of yours, firstly, a large number of religions as numerous as the colors in the rainbow, and secondly, as it is said, the same old story. During recent centuries, your favorites had many hundreds of these peculiar independent religious teachings in the common planetary process of their being existence. And the basis for all of them was the totality of the indications and explanations which had still survived and which had arisen in the mentioned way, given to them by the sacred individuals intentionally actualized among them from above. On these survived totalities, by which during recent times they were in a strange manner inspired, and from which, with their bobtailed reason, they borrowed ideas for the inventions of their still newer and newer religious teachings, there were based 5 religions, which still exist today, namely those religions called 1. The Buddhistic, 2. The Hebrew, 3. The Christian, 4. The Mohammedan, 5. The Lamist. Concerning the first of them, and namely the Buddhistic religion, I have already once told you. The second, namely the Hebrew, is founded, as it were, precisely on the teachings of the Saint Moses, by which name one of the genuine sacred individuals was called, who in his turn was intentionally actualized from above. The actualization of this sacred individual proceeded there in the planetary body of a boy who arose in a country now called Egypt, a little after my 4th personal sojourn on the surface of this planet of yours. This sacred individual, whom your favorites at the present time call Saint Moses, accomplished a great deal for them and left them many of those exact and corresponding indications for ordinary existence, so that if they would adopt and actualize them normally, then indeed all the consequences of the properties of the absolutely maleficent for them organ Kundabuffer might become gradually decrystallized, and even the predisposition for new crystallizations might be destroyed. But to the common misfortune of all beings, with just a little reason, of all our great universe, they began gradually to mix into all the counsels and indications of this normality-loving Saint Moses, as it was already proper to them to do, such a mass of what are called spices, that the saintly author himself could not with all his wish recognize anything of his own in this, as it were, totality collected by them of all he had explained and indicated. Your favorites of already the first generation of the contemporaries of Saint Moses evidently found it profitable for their special aims to insert in these religious teachings almost the entire fantastic teaching which I already told you when I related that among the ancient 3-brained beings of the second grouping on the continent Ashark, or contemporary Asia, there was a king named Kunuzion, a subsequent saint, who, for the purpose of saving his subjects from the pernicious habit of chewing the seed of the poppy, first invented his fantastic religious doctrine. After Saint Moses, the sacred individual was actualized there who laid the beginnings of that religion which your contemporary favorites call Christianity. This sacred individual, called by your favorites Jesus Christ, was actualized in the planetary body of a boy of that race of terrestrial 3-brained beings whom Saint Moses, on the command from above, chose from among the beings of the country Egypt, and led to what is called the land of Canaan. After this Jesus, there were actualized also on the continent Asia 2 other sacred individuals on whose teachings the beings were founded 2 of the enumerated religions existing there until today. And namely, one of these 2 sacred individuals was Saint Mohammed, who appeared among the, as they are called, Arabs, and the other, Saint Lama, appeared among the beings dwelling in the country named Tibet. At the present time, the first of the 5 religious teachings I mentioned, and namely the Buddhistic, is spread chiefly among the beings dwelling in the country India, the former Gemchania, and in the countries called China and Japan. The followers of the second religious teaching, and namely the Hebrew, are now scattered over the whole planet. In this place in my tales, it will do no harm also to remark the cause itself, owing to which the followers of the teaching of this Moses are scattered over the whole planet, as from this explanation you will well understand about one peculiar property of the organ Kundabuffer, and namely, about the property which evokes the feeling called envy. And you will also understand in what way each property of this organ, however small it may be the cause of very great consequences. The point is that the beings who chiefly professed the